If you're homeschooling your child, I want to say something that might reframe how you think about financial literacy education entirely. Because you have the single greatest advantage available in this space. You're not waiting for a curriculum. You're not working around school schedules or somebody else's priorities. You are the curriculum. Everything that happens in your home, your purchases, budget conversations, every financial decision you navigate out loud is your classroom. The question isn't whether you're teaching your child financial literacy. The question is whether you're doing it intentionally. Financial literacy is one of the hardest subjects to teach in a conventional school setting. Not because teachers aren't capable, they are, but because financial decisions are personal. They're embedded in family values, in real consequences, in the texture of daily life. You can't replicate that in the classroom. You can teach theory, but in a home, particularly a homeschool home, where learning and living are the same thing, the theory and the practice are inseparable. You're not simulating a budget, you're living with one. So, this is the 4-part framework. What I'm sharing today, it's a 4-part framework for teaching financial literacy at home. No textbooks, no special curriculum, no previous financial education required. Just 4 simple practices, each built to fit inside your life as it already is. Part 1. This is what I call the daily money moment. Once a day, just once, create a moment of money awareness. Not a lesson, a moment. So, at the grocery store, this run cost us $85. What did you notice about the prices this week compared to last week? Maybe at the petrol station. Fuel went up this week. Or at dinner, we chose to cook rather than eat out. What do you think the difference in cost was? None of these require preparation. They just require attention. You're simply inviting your child into the financial reality of daily life. And that invitation, repeated daily, it builds the habit of noticing money, which is the foundation everything else is built on. So, I call it narrating the economy. You're running a financial commentary on your daily life, not a lecture, a narration. Your child is the audience, and over time, without realizing it, they start narrating it themselves. Part 2, the real world transaction. So the real world transaction, once a week, let your child handle a real financial transaction with real money. Get them to pay for something at the supermarket. Research the cheapest option before a purchase, and then let them present the findings to you. Return an item. Negotiate at a market. Exchange something that they no longer use. See, the transaction is the classroom. The fumbling with change, the comparison of prices, the physical act of handing over money and receiving less. That's where the financial intuition is built. Theory describes these moments. Transactions create them. So, don't narrate the transaction for them. Resist. Be there, but let them fumble. Let the maths feel hard. Let them hand over too much and then work out the change. The discomfort is the lesson. Now, part number 3. The story and the reflection. Once a week, share a story that involves a financial decision, real or even made up, and then ask one question. It could be a newspaper story about a business that succeeded or failed. A book your child is reading where a character makes a choice about money. A story from your own life, a decision that you made that you'd make differently now. One question: what would you have done? That conversation, repeated weekly, is where values get shaped. Not rules, values. The difference between a rule and a value is that a rule breaks when you're not watching. A value holds when nobody's looking. I see family values as the most important thing to start with in every part of your life. It's important you have conversations with your partner and you are consistent with your values throughout your daily life. I do talk about that in the Financial Adventure Club too. Part 4. So this I call the Family Money Project. This is the one that I'm most excited to share with you because you're in the best possible position to do it. The Family Money Project. Once a term, give your child a meaningful financial role in something real. Let them plan the budget for a day out. Research what the family is spending on subscriptions. That's a good one. And then they could propose which ones to cut. Or maybe you could afford another. Run a small stall at a market. Manage the household grocery budget 1 week. See, these projects are the closest thing to my classroom economy that a homeschool environment can produce. Real responsibility, but at a scale where the consequences are manageable. That combination, real, low stakes, consequential, is irreplaceable. And here's what makes homeschool families uniquely positioned for this. You have the time and you have the flexibility. You don't need to carve this out of a school schedule. You can make it the school schedule. Those of you who are not homeschooling, fit it into the holidays, fit it into a weekend, but take the time and give the kids a real home project once a term. So, how to start? Here's the one thing about this framework. You don't need all 4 parts running from day 1. Start with 1, the easiest one. For most families, that would be part 1, the daily money moment. I mean, it costs nothing. It takes 60 seconds and it builds the habit of financial awareness that everything else in this framework sits on top of. So start tomorrow at breakfast or in the car or at the shops. Just 1 moment, just 1 question, and see what comes back. If you haven't watched Tuesday's video yet, go back and watch it first, because there's 5 things every parent needs to know before their child turns 12. And Tuesday and Thursday this week, they're designed to actually work together. And if you're looking for a structured platform that supports exactly what we've been talking about, stories that teach through Jerry and Phil's adventures, habit building quizzes, parent support resources, the Financial Adventure Club is the home base. The link is in the description. Which part of this framework that I've described fits most naturally into your homeschool day? Tell me about it in the comments. I'd love to know how families are using it. Until next time, see you then.